Buddy. I'm pleased to take a call on this bill because I'd like to continue the issue around poverty. I've just come from the Child Poverty Action breakfast. And if you want to talk about urgency, Mr. Speaker, let's talk about what's actually urgent, and it isn't this bill. We are in urgency while people are making really urgent decisions like which medicine shall I be able to purchase this week out of the 12 life-supporting medicines that I need because I can't pay the prescription charges. Or shall I have breakfast, or shall my children have breakfast? Now, yesterday, as she walked out of the House, I heard the Minister for Social Development say, oh, it's just so boring. Well, I'll tell you what's boring, Mr. Speaker. It's boring to have to make a choice between whether you eat and your children eat, and then to turn on the television and see the Parliament acting as if this was urgency and ignoring the really urgent issues. And it does actually make me feel quite ashamed. However, as they say in Star Trek, beam me up, Scotty, I've just come from the real world where people treat each other with respect. And I do understand what the member, Chris Farfoy, was saying about behaviour in the House. The Green Party we don't always keep our cool either. But we don't celebrate personal abuse. And what Dr. Graham was trying to say is the community has higher standards than we do. And that is a fact. The community has higher standards of behaviour than we do. And at the Child Poverty Action breakfast this morning, when we talked about the Taxation Measures Bill, people were astonished that the bill that we were debating was about attacking some of the most vulnerable minors, as in younger people, through this bill. They were astonished that that was the kind of urgency we'd gone into. I heard people speak about the real issues that are urgent in this country this morning, about the attack on welfare beneficiaries, the rhetoric which acts as if there's thousands of jobs out there when we know that there is no job creation plan. So we're going to punish and scapegoat people who cannot get the work that they're supposed to be looking for. I heard students talking about what's going on, and they were amused by this bill because students opposed this measure when it came before the Education Select Committee to change this measure, and they knew it wasn't going to work except to try and reward wealthy students. I'm not going to attack the government for making a mistake. I'm glad that they humbly acknowledged that it was a mistake, and I'm glad that they're changing that mistake. It's okay to get it wrong, as the government does, but it's not okay to get it wrong on the big issues. And what they've done in the budget, as well as in one aspect of this bill, is they've got it very, very wrong. They've got it very, very wrong to say that selling assets will benefit the families and whānau of Aotearoa. And this morning I listened to people from the social sciences, from the university, from the student community, and from the frontline community services dealing with poverty. And they are very distressed because they are unpicking the budget inch by inch, going through the rhetoric and finding the cuts. And so if you look at education and health, wherever there's been a gain, there has been a loss. And so they were calling this budget the smoke and mirrors budget. But in terms of this bill, I would call this bill the fiddling while Rome burns bill, the emperors with no clothes and being deliberately urgent about non-urgent matters bill. Because that's what we're doing. We're talking about issues that are minor under urgency while the rest of the country's out there trying to unpick the rhetoric about what's actually going to happen to our access to food, access to rent, access to medicine. And the fact that people think this is a minor matter and that we can focus on a minor matter is an example of how privileged we are in this House. People with white gloves open doors for us. We earn good money and we have forgotten, at least the government has, some of the rest of us haven't, have forgotten that the budget and the very first bill we debate after the budget should be about what really matters, whether our kids get to eat or not. That's the measure of a civilised community. And it's not supported in this bill, and it's not supported in the budget. The Green Party supports the changes to the rural rorting system for cows. Good on you, great. We're pleased to see you admit that you've made a mistake, but I'm afraid this bill is fiddling while Rome burns, and people out there are burning. Kia ora.
I call the honourable member Mark Mitchell.